Right, morning everybody, hope all is well. It is Thursday the 16th of April and we're ready to go into another session of Marvin Herbert's history story. Morning Colin, just got your message. Sorry if I don't reply to everybody's messages straight away, but yeah, I will eventually get back to people. Hope you're well, Carl. All right. Yeah, morning. Hope all is well with everyone. Right. Well, it looks like it's another fantastic day today. The sun's shining, everything's blowing through. It's settling down a little bit more now with this corona stuff. Other countries, apparently, Spain's going back to normal-ish. Well, we'll start, I've heard, today they're going to start lifting certain things over there, Joe. Germany's in dispute whether they're going to start today or Monday. They were looking to release a little bit of the stringent holds on every environment, but London's going to be a couple of months behind apparently. But either way, we got movement, we got people doing stuff, and everything's growing. I'm going to post a video earlier because we're still laying the fibre optics, the 5G and all that sort of stuff. All that's still happening. Everybody's out there. So I'm just going to wait for a few people to load up before I start talking. But so I like to have a little audience, you know what I'm like, I love an audience. So we've been talking about everything, so to speak, but we got up to 97 yesterday where I got released from jail. But like I said yesterday, I've got to get people's permissions, right, to actually talk about certain people in my life, otherwise it will cause a little bit of conflict with people that I've grown up with. So I don't want to talk about anybody that hasn't given me the green light. So if anybody's watching, or anybody's listening, and anybody wants to remind me of things that I've done, or things that we went through, or things that we can speak about, that they want to air, like, let me know, and I'll actually go back to that stage of my life and say, right, other people have contacted me, I couldn't speak about it without their permission, but now I've been given the green light, I want to talk about this stage of my life and that stage of my life again, right? So it's like, we can't go live and people can communicate with me, but we can message me. So don't be embarrassed because everything we've been through is amazing. I spoke to, remember the guy, I don't know if you remember, I spoke about when I wet the bed in my mate's house and he never ever said anything to anyone. And we had the conversation last night. Now, it's not an excuse, but it was the reality. And like, we were talking, he actually gave me his interpretation on me as a young man growing up and what he thought of me in school and what I've been through. He said, like, he really complimented me well. And what he said to me was, after he's seen my story and he's watched everything I've been going through and everything that's happened to me, and he actually thought about it, he said, well, do you know what? In all fairness, Marv, you are the only person I know that could have got through all of that. And even as a kid, I remember this kid, he was like, he was proper, mate. And he reminded me last night, he said, I remember I'd got myself up to doing 40 press-ups. And I come in, I was like, right, look what I can do, 40 press-ups. He said, and you got down and done 50. He said, you was always that person that always wanted to do better than everybody else. You always wanted to do more, like. And that was the mindset that I had growing up, you know, like, I had to be the alpha, you know, I had to be better, I had to do more. And if I couldn't, then I trained, or I was more repetitive until actually I've done what I've set out to do, you know. And the people that know me know that I never give up. And what I try to promote nowadays is that mindset with the youngsters that have never given up. No, but focus now on legal products rather than illegal products. Whereas I focus only on illegal products. So my life was built up around illegal stuff, like controversial stuff. Everything you do has got to be labelled as naughty because that's the only world I was getting accepted in. And it's sad when you grow up and you think about it, but the reality of it was that was a life, not just for me, it was for thousands of kids, thousands of people, and we chose it. Although we became the smaller demographic part of society, or the smaller percentage of the demographics, right? We all lived in it like it was the biggest thing since sliced bread. Like, I always thought there was more criminals on this planet than anything. So more criminals in England than anything. So then I started finding out statistics. So we're going to go into some statistics now about things that I didn't realise. So the percentage of criminals in this country, right? So the percentage of repeat offenders in this country. Now we'll have this conversation just briefly, right? And I'm going to give you something to think about. So for a couple of minutes, I want you to all to think about what percentage of people are actually repeat offenders that actually go in and out of jail, or they're involved in crime on and off throughout their whole entire life. And throughout their whole entire life, they go to prison, come out, sort themselves out, get on the right path, do whatever they do, and then a few years later, they get nicked again, they go back to prison. So people that are repeat offenders, right, that are in society within the United Kingdom, England, Ireland, Scotland and Wales, right? So if you think about the percentage, there's 65 million people in England, right? In the whole of England, there's 65 million people. So just base it on the basic people in England, right? So in England, there's 65 million people. What percentage of them people would you say are repeat offenders, right? So think about that for a minute. Then I'd like you to think about the amount of people that are in prison out of that 65 million people. Now, I'm going to let you think about it for a few seconds, a few minutes, and then I'll actually give you the facts and the statistics that you can look up. They're all in the public domain. And it's crazy, right? So I was brought up believing that criminals was the majority part of society, right? So everyone in society was half a villain, and everybody had someone that was a villain. So there's got to be loads of us. We're everywhere, right? But growing up, I realised why we all know each other, right? And the reason why all the villains know each other is because we are the smaller percentage of society. So that sort of escalates throughout the criminal fraternity. So you go London, you'll know all the villains in London know each other, or they know of each other, right? And then you got the nationals. So all the national crews know of each other. Do you know what I mean? All the international crews know of each other. So everybody knows a little bit about everybody who's up to nothing, who's up to no good. So everybody's interlinked and interconnected somewhere along the line. And this is the thing that we're going to get through now. So basically, when you think about it, everyone thinks, I thought it was 50-60% that was involved in criminality, repeat offenders. And then I found out that the repeat offender statistics are 0.2% or 0.3%? 0.2 or 0.3% of the population are repeat offenders. Now, the amount of people in prison right now, England, Ireland, Scotland and Wales, juvenile, adults, males, females, right, is 82,000. It's mad, isn't it? 82,000 people are in prison, like maximum in prison right now. The maximum ever in prison, I think, was 93,000 across England, Ireland, Scotland and Wales, man, woman and child. So I brought up in a world where I believed everything was criminal and everyone had to be a certain type of person. And this is why we're going through the stories, right? So the stories and the mindset that I had was for crazy insanity, right? So yesterday we got up to 97. So I'm going to regress a little bit because I've spoken to a couple of people and they've actually said that I can talk about things we've gone through. So what we're going to do today, we're going to go back to 95. Yeah. So there's a couple of things that I missed out on yesterday, apart on that prison stuff, right? So we're in prison. I ended up in a prison in 1995. Yeah, 1995. So when I was sitting there thinking, oh, where was I yesterday? It was Swaleside, right? So it was about 94, 95, I went to Swaleside. Yeah. High Point, Colony, 10, Swaleside. Yeah. And then basically Swaleside was and still is one of the most sort of challenging prisons to be in, right? So I want to go briefly through Swaleside because that was where I met a lot of villains that I sort of grew up with after that date and interacted with, that went on to do and are known for some prolific crimes in this city, you know, and everybody's been on their journey, everybody's been affected by violence in one way or another, knife crime or gun crime, right? And these are the things that are really abundantly obvious in our environments where we come from. So going back to 93, 94, I got nicked for the armed robbery. So I'm in jail, the mindset, never giving up, challenging everybody. And then we got to it's like a BCAT dispersal, Swaleside. So everybody went to Swaleside to get dispersed around the country to the long-term prisons, Whitemoor, Long Larton, Full Sutton. And when you finished in Long Larton, Whitemoor, Full Sutton and Durham, you come Swaleside and then got dispersed out into a CCAT, or a BCAT, or I mean CCAT, another BCAT or a DCAT, and then on your road to sort of getting released. So I turned up at Swaleside, 90, I can't remember the exact date, so between 95 and 97. So it turned up at Swaleside. What was my first sort of thought when I entered in Swaleside? My first thought was, fuck, now I'm in with all the big boys. Obviously I've just come from Scrubs and 10, so I'm with all the London lot, learning, like doing what we do as in London. But when you go into these dispersals, it's not just London, it's villains from all around the country and effectively around the rest of the world, right? So you're mixing with a different mindset, a different caliber, and a different motivation. And like this is where you met all the importers, all the cartel people, like all the next level villains doing 25, 30 years, 40 years, like. And we met some really amazing people that had actually done what I'd done and wasted their lives. Like, when you think about what they've done and where they are, like the opportunities I sort of see they could have had moving forward in life were amazing. So we get to Swaleside, and I spoke about Lenny Sanderford. Lenny Sanderford was a prolific criminal, serious criminal from East London, and he introduced me to a hell of a lot of people and sort of helped put me on the map in the criminal fraternity without being his benefit. So a lot of people met me, come into contact with me through me being their benefit, so they could benefit and move forward either by getting drugs, making money, having weapons, or having nicked cars, whatever it was. I was kind of a facilitator, and I could get everything that anybody wanted. There weren't a lot of things I couldn't get. So everybody used me for whatever it is they could get. And at the time, I appreciated it because I loved the attention, I loved the admiration I got, I loved the pedestal I got put on, because that was my ego, that was the person I was and the person I was becoming. So living in London, linking with London, having murders in and around London was different to growing and going nationwide and meeting people with a different mindset that was a lot more vicious, a lot more ferocious, a lot more hungry than the people in London, you know. So when I got into the dispersal system, well, this is in between dispersal and normal prisons, Swaleside. It was kind of an odd jail, but it was very, very hostile and very, very violent, and you had to be on your ones, otherwise you was a victim, and it was as simple as that. So there was some faces that I met. Let me see if I can remember some faces that I met. I met some faces. The first face I met in there, which wasn't by chance, it was meant to happen. Through Lenny. Lenny told me his pal was in this jail. His pal's name's Shakesie. Everybody, well, Abraham his name was, aka Shakesie, West Ham, ICF. And a quick sort of synopsis on Shakesie. Shakesie, to my understanding, I believe, he had some sort of illness as a child. lost the use of his, lost the use of his right hand and his right leg. So he walked with a limp, and he had no functioning fingers on his right hand. But as disabled as this man was, right, his fearlessness, his ferociousness, and his ability to rise above any challenge is what really stuck out with me. This was a man that was half of a man, effectively, right? But twice the strength of a lot of people. And people that know Shakesie will know. Like, this guy, for one, I'll tell you one story. Right? I don't know exactly who the people were, but what I know is this, right? He got to a jail called Pentonville, right? So he gets to Pentonville one year. This was just before I met him, and I heard the story before I met him, and I know the people that was on the wing with him, and I know this happened, right? I know this happened. So anyone who was in Pentonville at this time will know this story, right? So he's turned up. Obviously, he's a little black cunt that everybody knows. So in the Screw's mind, this little black cunt, who's this fucking... And everybody knows him. Now, he's getting more respect off of everybody on the wing than the Screws was getting on a whole. So, because he's so well known, like, everybody was kissing his ass, licking his ass, doing whatever they do, befriending him, like, because he was a face and he was known. East London, North London, West London, South London. He was known everywhere. He was known to me as a kid before I even knew who he was. He's the next generation up to me. I think he's 50 odd years of age now. But basically, what happened was he got to Pentonville. Obviously, being the man he is, he's getting all the attention. No one's listening to the Screws. Everyone's showing him all the love. And the Screws most probably thought, don't like this little cunt. But there was a couple of people on the wing that had a bit of math, had a bit of jib. And the Screws decided it would be in their best interest and this other fella's best interest to put Abe in a cell with this fella, but not on his own. He wasn't on his own. From my understanding, I think there was 3 or 4 people in the cell, but the Screws put Abe in. So put Abe in the cell thinking he's going to be served up or whatever. But what they didn't know was what Abe was all about. And Abe was game, right? Now, what I know about Abe, right? I might be speaking out of school, but it's what I knew, what I saw, what I know, right? So Abe, where he was disabled, and he was a clever cunt, where he was disabled, he used to, like, not play on his disability as a victim, but he used to carry razor, his hands are dead, right? So he used to carry razor blades within his fingers and in his bandages, right? And you wouldn't think of it. Right, so anyway, he's been put in the cell with these lumps of, like, these proper, apparently, fucking naughty members, and they're going to serve him up. I don't know what transpired in the cell, because I wasn't in the cell, I wasn't in the prison. But what I do know is this. One of the geezers got a wet down his face, another geezer got served up, another geezer got cut. So everyone in the cell got touched, right, in a way where when the Screws opened the door, everyone was covered in claret, but Abe. And Abe standing there, just walked out the cell, went about his business. Now, when you think of that as a man, or a story of a man, think about it, having one leg, one arm, yeah, walking into a cell with 4 game, able-bodied men, right, getting the door locked in a 6 by, I think they're about 6 by 11 foot, 6 foot by 11 foot, right? And walking out of there, and everyone else is covered in claret. So people got opened up, people got cut, people got beat, and he walked out. Anyway, that was Shakesie in a nutshell. And now he's another kid that went to the football, and he was never fearless at the football. He went football, and he opened people up. He done things, and I don't know exactly what he done, but his reputation, he opened up people, and he made a name for himself on the circuit when I was growing up as a kid. And when I heard about Shakesie, I didn't know he was disabled, because no one's actually game enough to call him a cripple or disabled. But I'm disabled, I'm a cripple, so I can say it, and I'm his pal, we're family, and he's disabled, and he was a cripple. Like, he was half the man that anybody else was. But what did he achieve? He achieved a lot more than half of the people that I know. In the world of violence and reputation, this man was ferocious. Now, I actually understand what made the man he is today, because I know him inside out. So we was in Swaleside. Now, I've got to Swaleside. I'm looking for Shakesie now, because Lenny, my pal who put me on the map, told me about Shakesie. He said, you got to look for him. So I didn't know he was disabled. I didn't know nothing about him. But I'm walking up the landing. There's a long corridor. I'm walking up the landing. He was walking up from, I think it was D-Wing we was on. So he's walking up from D-Wing, and I'm coming from A-Wing, and I'm looking for him. And I've seen this little geezer bowling up the landing, right? And you know when you just look at someone, you think, that's got to be him. That's got to be him. So as I walked up to him, I went, Shakesie. He went, Marvin. I went, yeah, what's happening? We had a cuddle, and then boom, I said, what wing you on? Cutting a very long story short, I ended up next door to him. Now, we linked and amalgamated straight away. And I've got to talk about this because this is friendships. Like, me and him made a friendship in prison, because he's never benefited from me. I've never benefited from him. I've never rung him and asked him for anything. He's never rung me and asked me for anything. I've never been around him and he's asked me for anything. And we've never asked each other for anything, like, nothing. Like, I've never rung him up and said, do you fancy risking your libby? We got a little coup going on. He's never rung me up and said, look, I've got a little coup going on. Do you fancy giving some money? Like, it's never happened. Every time we've met, it's been about his kids and my kids, his missus and my missus, and our family and his family. That's it. We don't do nothing else. I go and sit in his house and we talk about shit for hours. If I'm passing his house on the motorway, I'll stop and go in and have a chat, have a doobie, and go about my business. So we had family time with each other, and we grew with each other, you know. And so we were in Swaleside. In Swaleside, there was some ferocious people in there, some people that was violent, some people that are never getting out of jail now. Yeah. And we made an impact as I made an impact as a young man. That was more the reason we're going to go down this road, because of the impact I made throughout, because it's all about the impact I made on the journey that I went on, which catapulted me to the person that I ended up being before I got shot, right? So I got to Swaleside and I thought, this is it. No one can say anything to me. No one can do anything to me. I've got to be this guy now. And I had an ability. I could fight. And I could stand up, and there was people from every age group, right? So we go through all the ages. So from 20 years of age up to 60 years of age, they was all there. And this is where I first met everybody that's sort of on the same wavelength now, if that makes sense. So Abe was the first one I met. He was on the. I moved next door to him, so we was next door to each other. I'll reel some names off now. So there was Abe, there was Fox, Colin Powell, there was Fox, there was Burger and Muscles. I'm going to tell you a story about them in a minute, because I think Muscles were actually, without even realising it, indirectly changed the perception of me within the prison, without even realising it, and weren't in a nasty way. We just had a bit of banter and something happened, but I'll tell you that story in a minute. There was Burger, then there was Troy, Fox, Burger, Scatter. That's all the Love and Money crew with Colin. Yeah, Colin from Islington. Yeah, Colin was good stuff. Who else? Brian McKay was there with us. Brian McKay. Who else was on our wing? Pat Savage. Yeah. What was his name? What was his name? Fuck. I'll have to ring up and find out. There's a couple of people I forgot. See, that's what getting shot in the head does. Anyway, there was Yardies in there. There was the Irish in there. There was an Iranian in there. There was a couple of Africans, a couple of Cockneys, a couple of Scousers, you know. And they was all from everywhere. But we used to have some madness in there, right? So I gets there, and I can only talk about me, so I'm only going to talk about the stuff that I got involved in. I got there and I was very, very, very egotistical, very aggressive, very angry. And I had to make a mark in the criminal fraternity. This is my first prison sentence within the gangsters' environments, all the gangster people. Do you know what I mean? Like I've met Reggie and Reggie Craig. I met all the major villains that you can meet in Peter. It was Peter, Tony, Georgie, Terry, Stephen. They was all from Maidstone. And they're the people that I remember. Tony was the one who got me into tennis. Yeah. TK, he got me into tennis. Can't say his name because I haven't spoken to him in a while. Yeah. Peter was a friend. Johnny was a friend. Yeah. So we get to Swaleside. And we're going up into the more aggressive road light members, more so than the establishment. Like Mason was full of all the long timers finishing off, so they had a different mindset to everyone in Swaleside. Swaleside was a kill or be killed place. It was ferocious, it was violent. So anyway, I had the little coup where I could get my drugs into the prison. So I was always financed, because drugs in prison are your finances. So I was always financially sustained within the prison system. I was always able to get drugs. I was always had currency. So my currency in prison was always there. It was always at the best level you could have in prison. And I had the best products and I could do everything I needed to do. So drinking, puffing, sniffing, partying, taking ease. But that's all I used to focus on, because when you're in there doing nothing, there's nothing to do. And if you sit around doing nothing, then you end up going nutty. If you sit around smoking heroin, you end up heroin addict. The only thing I never done was educate myself in school, because I never went to school because I was never going to get a job. Working as I was programmed was for the mugs. So going to college and getting qualifications in prison, like a couple of my mates done, and come out and got fantastic jobs and got businesses. One of them's a quantum surveyor now. He learned everything he needed to learn about business in prison, and now he's a quantum surveyor. He's on decent money. He's bought a couple of properties. He's just finished doing a property up, and he's been through the mill, come out the other side. Now he works exceptionally well. Same energy, same drive, same commitment, different product. But he's very successful now, quantum surveying for one of the biggest developers in this country, if not Europe. And yeah, so we all met up then. Basically, what was my introduction to Fox and Scar? I think what got me connected to a lot of people was ease, right? So I used to like partying. So when I got in prison, the partying never stopped. So maybe once a month, I'd get a parcel of ease, loads of gear, sniff, and loads of puff. Then we'd party once a month. So I've made some decent links in Swaleside with everyone. But I was always a lone ranger and always out to prove a point. So some of the things I've done in Swaleside was absurd, insane, but it got done. So some of the stories that happened, just basically I've gone in the kitchen one day. I'm in the kitchen, everyone's cooking. And obviously I was cooking for me and Abe. I started cooking a bit of bacon. One of the young fellas come down, started telling me about I can't cook bacon because they're Muslims and I can't do this and I can't do that. And you know, like that's the worst thing you can say to Marvin Herbert at that stage of my life is you can't do or you can't have. So I was like flipped. And it was funny then, but it doesn't seem so funny now. But what I've done is to cause conflict, to see how strong this person was, to see how ready they was. I said, what the fuck are you talking about, mate? I can't cook bacon. Of course I can cook bacon. He said, well, we can't use the stuff that you use if you use bacon, because we don't. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Obviously, I was ignorant to religion. I was ignorant to Muslims. I was ignorant to everything. So all I cared about was robbing, violence, and enjoyment, taking drugs, right? So basically, I started throwing all the bacon on all the cooking stuff and having murders with all the Muslims on the wing. But it was one of them things that, at the time, I felt justified. So I'd done it to just what are you going to do then? There's your bacon, what are you going to do about it? Fucking mug. Do you know what I mean? So it was more of a confrontation thing for me because I had to be the alpha male. I had a few bits of issues with people in there. You know, like we partied hard, got to know people on a different level. But me and Abe, I think that was the only relationship that I actually made within the prison. And basically, I used to get my bits, he used to get his bits. We used to just share everything 100%. I'd done most of the cooking. And I'll tell you how simple it was, right? So we're coming up to Christmas. So I've gone to all the villains on the wing. Right, listen, let's all club our food together and let's do a proper spread. So we've got all the food, we've got everything, put all it together, we'll do it together. And they was like, yeah, it's a good idea. So come close to Christmas, no one done anything. They was all doing their own thing. So me and Abe, as you do, decide we want a proper Christmas dinner. So we had a leg of lamb, a roast chicken, a joint of beef, you know, like we had all the meats, all the chickens, we had all the veg, all the fruit, we had 2 tables at the end of our spur, and we just put everything on. Colin Meek come down, he had dinner with us that day, you know, it was me, Colin, and Abe, really. They were the 3 musketeers at that time. And we had a lot of conflict on the wing. I won't go too much into the conflict on the wings, because people might hold feelings and they might reignite old flames, and you know what they say about opening old wounds. So there's a couple of things I will talk about because I can, and it happened and it was real. And this was people challenging me as an individual, people challenging my abilities, people challenging my authenticity, so to speak. So basically, I got to the jail, and everyone that knows me knows that when I'm in a happy mood and I'm making money and everything's going well, I share everything. So when I got to this jail and I was getting all my bits and pieces, I was getting all the drugs, I was getting crack, I was getting weed, I was getting ash, I was getting coke, I was getting ecstasies, I was getting heroin. So I'm getting it, and I put it about the wing, put everything, like you sold a little bit, give a little bit, sold a little bit, give a little bit. You got to make sure the missus is getting a bit of readies on the ad. So basically, I used to give everybody a little bit of puff, a little bit of gear, a little bit of everything. So the first bit of conflict, well, it weren't really the first bit of conflict, it was just a defining bit of conflict. Basically what happened, and this is what got me known within the whole prison, I think. We're on the wing of having banter all the time, and the Burger, yeah, because Muscles was I think his older brother. Now these were armed robbers from over East London, Forest Gate, I think. And basically, when someone in prison, if someone gives you a joint, you give them a joint back. If someone gives you a drink, you give them a drink back. So it's always giving for an ulterior motive. You don't give for nothing, right? So what's happened is I'm one of them people. If I like you, I'll give you a bit of puff, and I don't look for nothing back. I used to just give it to people. So obviously, I remember who I'm giving work to. I remember what I'm doing to people. You're not dumb, you know what I'm saying? So I remember old Burger. I used to give him a bit of puff all the time, like, oh, Marv, have you got a joint? I said, yeah, of course, yeah. Boom, crash, man, look for him. Anyway, give him a joint. Anyway, one day, I can't remember what it was or where it was, but one day I never had no puff. And it was very, very rare that I never had puff in prison. People that know me know, right? It was very rare for me not to have puff. So I never had puff on this day. So I've gone to Burger. I've gone, Burger, do us a favour, give us a bit of puff till my visit. I ain't got no puff. He was like, all right, yeah, sweet. Nah, he gave me the bit of puff. I went to my cell, I rolled up a joint, boom, 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 got on my days. Anyway, gone on my visit, come off my visit, gone to my cell. Now, when you used to sell gear in prison and people used to get visits, what you used to do is go to their cell as they come back off their visit, because they're usually people that don't want to pay you, but they want to get more gear from other people, or they want to take their gear and keep it for themselves or whatever. But when people owe you money, they got to pay you. So usually when you're serving up in a jail and people come off a visit, you go straight to their cell or send someone straight to their cell to grab what they owe you before they do it, because everyone's skint and everyone's in prison, right? So everybody's got to get as much as they can. And if you've got someone that's smoking heroin, he don't want to give all his heroin away, or he don't want to give all his money away. So there are so many people that you got to be there first. So anyway, what happened was, I've come on my visit, gone back to my cell, and Burger's come to my door, like, I was like, what the fuck do you want, mate? And he's like, that bit of puff. I was like, what bit of puff? because I actually forgot, because I'd give him loads of bits of puff throughout the months or fucking year. I never thought I'd have to give it back, because he's never come at me and gone, oh, here's that bit of puff back that I took, or here's that bit of money for anything you had, or here's that bit of this, or here's that bit of that. And I remember prior to this, a week prior to this, we had a party. And then we had a sick party. Like, I invited loads of people to this party. We all took E's, we all took puff, we all done it. And before the end of the night, I cut off everybody like a little eighth. A little eighth for puff, a little bit of bran, a little bit of crack, a little bit of sniff. And I'll give them all a little parcel to leave the party with, so they can go back to their cells and carry on, so we could be out the windows having a laugh and a giggle. So because that happened, I didn't think him giving me that puff was a trade. I thought he'd just give me the bit of puff. So when I've come back on my visit, he's come to myself, where's my money? I was like, what? What money? He was like, for that bit of puff. I was like, well, that little bit of puff you gave me the other day. I said, you fucking buzzing? He was like, what do you mean? I said, what do you mean? What do I mean? I said, are you buzzing? I said, you come in my cell. We had a party. He said, yeah, but what I do is for money, innit? You got to pay me, bruv. I was like, are you joking? He was like, nah. I said, all right, sweet, go on, go up. I'll come up and see you in a minute. I said, but don't come to my cell. I said, I'll come up and see you in a minute. So then I've actually got my gear out, done what I'm doing, and I've given everybody who I have it with their little bits. I've wrapped my bit of gear back up, bottled it, took my puff out for the night, bottled the rest of the parcel. So I thought, this cheeky cunt. Anyway, so I've gone upstairs and said, you know what, you're a cheeky cunt. I said, no, I ain't giving you no fucking money. I ain't fucking a crackhead or smackhead, you cheeky cunt. I said, how about the gear I'll give you? Are you going to pay me back for that? Right, so me and him were having this bit of conflict. And you know when you just feel something? So I felt, as I've turned around, his older brother, and I'm talking this geezer's a lump, like 18, 20 stone of muscle, right? Hence the reason Muscle was his nickname. So as I've turned around, he's standing there with a fucking massive frying pan. So I've gone, what the fuck's that all about? I said, what are you doing? What, you come out the cell for me? And as I've backed up in the cell now, Burger's one side and Muscle's his face. And I said, what? You both want to do me, yeah? Well, come on then, what are you going to do, bruv? And he went, nah, I ain't come out here with this for you. I've just heard a commotion on the wing, yeah, on the landing. I thought, what's going on? And I popped my head out. I said, no, you never, you come. I said, you come out. You come out to do something with that. I believe you come out to do something with that. And you heard my voice. You know my fucking voice. What's your problem? He went, nah, you're getting it all wrong. I said, yeah, I have, mate. I said, and you got it all wrong as well. Burger, you ain't getting paid. I'll fucking see you later, you mug. And I've walked off. So anyway, for the next couple of days, there's a little bit of banter. Muscles is taking the piss out of me, saying, oh, yeah, you thought I'd come out to do you. I don't need a frying pan for you, son. Shepherd. Oh, his next name will come to me soon, right? But he was on our landing as well, right? White geezer with a big old chap's chain, like, yeah, anyway, he'll come to me. But these are people we had a laugh with in jail. So anyway, this bit of banter's going on between me and Muscles over these few days. But we used to do boxing in the gym, in the changing room. So we was allowed to box back then in the prison. But we used to do sparring. What was his name? Mickey something. He'll come to me in a minute. Anyway, he was a kung fu geezer. Right? He used to do all the kung fu and all the... He was a fighting man that could do things, but... He always spoke about, well, he could box. And I was like, I can box. So anyway, cut a long story short, it might have been Ward. Something Ward. I'm not a million percent. It'll come to me as we're talking. Anyway, so basically, we're doing sparring down the gym. So my banter with Muscles was, look, you lot can talk about whatever you want, mate. I said, but physically, I'll punch your heads in. Do you know what I mean? You got all the muscles in the world, but I'll punch your head in. In Australia, you get your head punched in. Oh, shut up, you get knocked out. One punch off these guns, son, you're gone to sleep. So anyway, the banter's going backwards and forwards. We're having a bit of giggle, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, we're still down the gym, doing our circuits, and then in the changing rooms to do the sparring. We just put the benches down and do the sparring in the ring sort of thing. So one day, Muscles has walked in the changing room when we're sparring. So obviously, I said, here, Muscles, all that knocking bollocks shit out, come on, put the gloves on. He's like, brother, I ain't getting in that. I said, what are you talking about, you mug? You're talking about you'd knock me out, yeah? You reckon you'd knock me out, right? So now, come on. You can knock me out in fair play. This is it. You can knock me out. Shut me up. I won't ever say another word, will I? I said, this is your chance to prove yourself, son, because I don't think you're capable. You're too fat, yeah? Because you're not muscles to me. You're fat. And I was just trying to get him to snap. Lo and behold, he snapped. Right, yeah, sweet, come. Because obviously, the whole wing, like, the whole jail, right? Because everyone went to the gym together from all different wings, unless there was a governor's note to say you're not allowed to go to the gym. You was allowed to go to the gym and mix with every other wing, right? So it was very hostile in the gym. And it was like yardies, blacks, whites, like it was deep, like, and you had to walk on eggshells if you was a certain type of person. But I fronted everyone, and everybody that knows me know I fronted everybody. I had it with everybody, and I had a fight with anybody who was challenged or challenged. Like if I felt you was a challenge, I'd have to challenge you. If I felt you was someone, then I'd have to have a go, like, and that was it. If they backed up or we became friends, then I'd take that as a submission. And I was just crazy like that. So anyway, everyone in the gym's like, what? You're not getting in, what? Well, you said, what? Man like you should get in, man. Look, man, what are you shook for? So obviously, everyone's sticking on him to get in with, because I was skinny. I weren't even 13 stone. I was like 12 stone, skinny piece of shit, like skinny streak of piss. I was, right? And I was skinny. So then, what are you shook for? I said, get in, man. Come on, get in. And then all of a sudden, cut a very long story short, he got in, right? Now, I never smashed his face in and beat him up to where you couldn't recognise him, right? But what got proved this day is that this man couldn't have a fight with me, right? So he's trying to punch me and he's sending, teleporting like punches. You know when you come in on, bop, 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 moving, bop, 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 and he just couldn't land a shot. He landed a few shots and he was pretty strong, don't get me wrong. He weren't an absolute cunt. He weren't an absolute mug. He was a powerful little member, but he wasn't Marvin Herbert. Facts, right? So basically, he embarrassed himself where he punched himself sick, punched himself out of air, right? So obviously, all the black kids in the jail saw this and thought, wow, don't play with Marv because he can have it. Like, he can have it. Because obviously, Muscles and Burger was intimidating forces of people. They've beat people up in the past. They've actually intimidated some of the hardest people from East London. And they've actually made a name for themselves. Yet he couldn't land a punch on me. So people were thinking, wow, obviously Marv can have it. So that was elevated me up a little bit. Louis, I think it's Louis Shepherd. He was another kid on our wing. Yeah. And then me and Abe. And I've got to tell you a story about Abe, right? Ah, dear. What's happened, right? Me and Abe was my right hand. It could become, like, people used to think, like, someone said, oh, Abe does things because I'm with him, but it wasn't, right? At the end of the day, Abe was so slick at what he done, yeah. You needed him on board. He was my right hand, he really was, and he had different ways of doing things. So I'll give you an example of what he done to me one day, and he done me like a kipper. It was an absolute blinder. So, obviously, something, I can't remember, something had happened, and this is what happened, right? I can't remember if this is the right order, but what happened was one night we're talking out the window, right? Me and him were talking out the window because he's right next door to me, so we're having a joint talking out the window. And then a couple of rats, literally a couple of rats come out of the bushes and went on their back legs. So he's got to be, oh, there's your pals there. So and it was like a running joke, right? And then all of a sudden there was 4 or 5 rats. And then he's like, fuck me. Like, they really are your pals. And then basically, we was having the laughing joke, running jokes out. The rats always come to see you, they're always outside your cell. Obviously, where you're eating food and you're throwing shit out your window, they're coming to grab your food. You know, so then he starts, like, because once he gets his teeth into something, Abe, he don't let go. So he's taking a piss out of me and he's ruining me and he's people out the window are laughing and everything else. So I went, all right, sweet, not a problem. Because in my head, I thought, yeah, I'm going to flip you out your bed tomorrow. Because he used to lie in bed, right? So what we used to do, well, this is our table. So anyway, I thought, all right, cunt, you think you're funny, yeah? Watch, I'm going to flip you out your bed in the morning before I go gym, right? So then what happened, he take the piss out of me all day, all night. And then in the morning, what I've done, because he sleeps in, and the screws have got to open every door. So he used to just leave his door, and then come 11 o'clock, they'll bang your door back up. But they've bust his door, I've run in, right? And I've flipped his mattress off his bed. But as the mattress comes off the bed, he's had to come off the bed, all the covers, he's gone mad, you cunt. I've got in and I've banged his door out, right? So now he ain't talking to me, and that's it, he ain't. And when Abe don't talk to you, he makes you feel like an absolute cunt. He really does. Like, it's not good. Now, if he don't talk to you, he don't talk to you. And when he's your mate, and you're like, hey, come on, mate, and he just walk like, it's like you don't even exist, and he's walking, right? So, anyway, I'm not a nasty cunt, so I'm still cooking stuff. and I'm giving him his food, doing his things, right? So one day, he's gone to the, like, after this bit of ag, right, we're having a bit of banter, I threw him off the bed. So that afternoon, he's gone to the kitchen, like, and I'm still cooking dinners because it's a food boat. So I'm still cooking dinners and putting his dinners on his side and things like that. Anyway, he's gone to the kitchen on this afternoon and done himself an egg sandwich, right? Like a couple of egg sandwich or an egg sandwich. He's done something. So like, I've come out my cell and he's walking up the landing with an egg sandwich, but he's only got one arm, right? So he ain't got two hands, he can't do nothing. So he's got his egg sandwiches in his hand, right? And he's walking up, I said, well, you ain't got an egg sandwich for me, but he's like he ain't heard me. Like, because he ain't talking to me, he's blanking me. He used to have these mad, like, these, it was just like him and hers. Like, it was crazy. There weren't no man or woman relationship, but it was like, we fought like man and woman. Like, it was crazy, like husband and wife. So he's walking down, he ain't talking to me, so he's walking down, and as he got like shoulder width from me and he's blanked me, what I thought I'd do, I'll just nick the sandwiches. So I've nicked the sandwiches off his plate and run up the landing, right? Because obviously he can't run as fast, but I've got away, run up the stairs. Now I'm on the third floor, he's come out, cunt. And then he's got, no, don't worry about it, mate, I've had the sandwich. So I can't remember if he went and made another sandwich or went back. So now it's on. Right, now I know it's on, right, because he's got the ump and he's going to do something about it. So now I've got to be careful, right? So for the next day or two, I'm being very careful. I'm banging my door up. I'm leaving my cell, banging my door up, doing everything right so he can't get in my cell. And then one day, something's happened. I can't remember what it was, but I've run out of my cell. And while I'm finishing doing what I'm doing, I thought, fuck, I've left my cell door open. So I've come back down the landing. I know he's somewhere, but I don't know where he is, right? So I've walked down to his cell, looked through his flap, he's not in his cell. Opened his door, he ain't in his cell. I've looked under his bed, he ain't under his bed. With Abe, he's the guy that you can't not look everywhere because he's going to be somewhere, right? He's going to be somewhere. So I've looked under his bed, looked under everything, looked in his little cupboard, he ain't there. So I thought, where the fuck is he? Walked up the landing, I said, Lou, you seen Abe? Seen Abe? No one's seen Abe, right? So I'm looking for Abe, I can't find him. So where the fuck is he? So I've gone down to my cell, right? I've opened my flap, I've looked in my cell, and I can't see no one. I've opened the door, I've looked under my bed, I can't see no one. So I thought, where the fuck is he? So I'm carrying on walking around and looking for him, can't find him. So I thought, I give up. So then right, I walked in my cell, right? I'll tell you, I've walked, and this pain. This goes beyond pain. And if this has ever happened to someone, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But this was unbelievably distressful for me, right? And it's something that I went on to do to other people in life, right? But I can't find it. Ah, fuck him, I'm going back to my cell. And I've got in my cell, I've walked in the cell, and I've got my hand on the door. And you know, you walk in and you shut a door. But as you shut the door, you sort of turn around to make sure it's shutting, right? I've put my hand on the door and I've shut it. I've turned like that. And I've just seen movement from the floor. So as I've looked down, I've seen Abe coming up. And he's coming up. And as he's come up with a jug of water. And he's got wallop. And the jug of water's just come up. It's gone up my nose and up my eyelids, right? But as it's gone up my eyelids, it's lifted my eyelids up, so I can't open my eyelids because the water's underneath them. And the pain, oh my God, the pain was unreal. But I just don't know, I've never felt pain like it. I'm telling you, I've never felt pain like it. I got shot point blank range in the eye and it never hurt at all. This kid threw fucking water up my eyelids and it was agony, right? He threw water up my eyelids, tipped all the food off the side, flipped me bed on the floor and banged my door up. So I was sitting in a cell, I can't get no mop, all my food, all my water, all my beds, all over the bar. It was horrible. And he done me like a kipper, yeah? And then he still wouldn't talk to me. He still wouldn't talk to me. He was a blinder. He still wouldn't talk to me. And it took him about, I think, another week and a half. And what it was, this is what done it, I think. We used to call Puff Midge, right? And then one day he went to me, yeah, cunt, bit of midge, right? And we used to talk through the pipes and you could get things through the pipes. I can't remember if it was my door or my pipe, but he said, here's your bit of midge, cunt. And put it a bit, because Puff was the most important thing in prison. It really was, because that got you to bed at night, you know? So that's when I realised he really loved me, you know, because that's what I remember saying, yeah, cunt, midge, cunt. I've turned around and there's me little lump of Puff, because we used to give everything to each other. Like, there weren't nothing he could have that I didn't share. There weren't nothing I could have that he couldn't share. And that was how we grew in there. It was sick. Sick. Yeah, so burger muscles, and then basically we caused a bit of a drama, caused a little bit of a riot, and that's what got me get kicked out. So we had a lot of dramas in there. There was a lot of fights in there. There was a lot of problems in there. You know, we rose above a lot of it. And there was one time, I think it was an Irish group. There was an Irish group in there, and Burger and Muscles. But obviously, me and Burger and Muscles always had banter. But the Irish firm, I bonded with them for some reason. I don't know why, but we really did bond. And one of the Burgers mates took a liberty with the Irish lot. So one of the Irish lot come to me and said, "Are you going to get involved?" I said, "For what?" He said, "Nah, because really and truly, I don't want any ag with you and Shakesie or Colin or this, or the little group we had, because we had a little group of badness that no one really fucked about. With even Shakesie being like disabled, like no one would fuck with him, you know, because we done what we said on the tin, and no one liked getting cut, stabbed or beaten up. And Abe was the man that would cut you, mate. I was the man that would beat you up, and Colin was the man that would pound you into the ground. Like Colin was a next level as well. Subsequently doing, I don't think he's ever getting out. I don't know how long he's doing, but he's doing a hell of a lot. Yeah, so they come to me and said, "Look, what are you going to do?" I said, "No, I'm going to do nothing." And then basically it kicks off. It was like a little race wire. They've steamed into the yardies. They've steamed into because the yardies was there was the yardie. There was the East London Spur, and the East London was linked up with the yardies. So the yardies in the East London had a problem with the Irish Spur, and it just kicked off. And then we all got shipped out. Yeah, that's when I got ghosted out of what do you call it, Swaleside, for being an instigator. They said I instigated the race war. No one really got hurt, but there was a couple of cuttings, a couple of stabbings, and then I got kicked out. And that's where we left it yesterday. Crazy. So out of that, I went to Canterbury, and then I got released from Canterbury, 1997. I got out in 1997. 1997 was a very hostile time, and I got released into a world of murders because my boys over Abbey Road and West London was having a lot of problems in-house, and a lot of issues were going on that I weren't totally aware of, but it all kicked off when I was away. So basically when I was away, a few things kicked off and I weren't aware of them, and then when I come out I was sort of thrown into the frying pan. But first, as soon as I come out, I told people I'm just switching off for a little while. I started doing a bit of roofing with Barry Henley and Titch, Tiny. He employed me as work, so I started doing the roofing, scaffolding, labouring sort of stuff. I've done that for about 9 months. I've done it up until the point where I sort of fell out with Lisa, basically. Me and Lisa fell out, we went our own separate ways. I won't go into the personal dramas of me and Lisa, but me and Lisa fell out. I ended up with another bird, and life went on a different journey. Yeah, you know what? It was one of them situations where I was working every day, you know, went to work, went roofing. I was doing a little bit of skullduggery to bring a bit of extra cash in. And the penultimate thing was, the thing that ruined mine and Lisa's relationship was partying, I imagine. So basically, I never went out for 9 months. Got out, never went raving, never done nothing, went to work, done everything you could do. And one day my pal said to me, "Marv, you going to come out?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm going home, listen, no." Because I used to take £5 out of everything I've done. Like, I was bringing maybe 1,900 quid a week home, roughly, round about. Yeah, about £1,000, 1,500 quid a week. I was doing a bit of side things. I was nicking a bit of puff, nicking a bit of router. Plus I was working and claiming. So I was on a few quid back then. And I was sitting indoors giving all the money to Lisa, and then taking a £5 or a £10 a day to go up to Brunswick, buy myself a drink, have a game of pool. And once me money ran out, I'd come home. Young Ozzy was a young kid that I took under my wing at that stage. Yeah, that's another avenue we can go down at a later date, because that was an old drama, you know. And his life ended not ended as in physically, but egotistically and sort of personally, he fell out of a lot of people and he had to go and leave and live in a different part of the town. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, funny enough, one of the things that springs to mind, yeah, is I was under the influence of all sorts of drugs doing everything I grew up. And there was one thing that I admired about Shakesie, yeah. All he done was have a puff. I can't even remember if he had an E, to be fair, but he wasn't a Class A member back then. You know, and he was staunch at it. He was staunch at it. He's just his little bit of puff. Yeah, one sec. Yeah, so yeah, we had one party. That was a party that was unreal. So I get a load of these in one day, and I think this is what gelled us together, I think, as a little group of people, you know, because I can't remember exactly. I remember Fox was there, I remember Shakesie was there, I remember Scatter was there, Colin was there, Brian was there, I've got to be another couple of people, but we were in the cell and we were having a party, like a rave, like all got the lights off, got the night light on, got the music thumping, we were all buzzing, and it was all day. And by the end of the night, they're doing canteen, and they've come to the door. They've gone, Herbert, use canteen. But when you turn the light on, the walls were pissing with fucking water and sweat. All our eyes were like that. We've had to go down and get our canteen out of our nuts. Like, but thinking back, it's a fond memory, because when you're incarcerated and you got nothing, like, and yet we're escaping that reality. That I think that's what bonded us. The way we escape the reality in there, you know. Because the reality is just sitting in a fucking cell doing nothing. So if you can enjoy yourself on a level where it's like you're in a nightclub, you know. So there are things I used to do every month and gel with people and like just socialise, but it was unreal. Unreal that time in there. Really was. And the relationship, like me and Nate are still friends today. Obviously, I've had to ring him and ask if I can speak about him, you know. So it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy how life evolves and develops, because everybody I grew up with back in them days that was as insane as myself, actually all on the same journey now and all saying the same things. What a waste. You know, they wish they'd have done things slightly different. They wish they'd have done things a little bit more controlled, you know, because we've all mixed with all the top people on the planet, doing everything. And like the rave scene, the party scene, the drug scene, the money-making scene, the jewellery scene, every scene you could ever imagine. We've been there, seen it and done it, you know. So it's only right for us to do what it is we're doing now. But yeah, 96, 97. So then I'll get released from Swaleside, starts having it. Me and Lisa have a job, so I'm working now, yeah? Sorry about that, it was just a little flashback. I think these things happen all the time, just keep coming back, but wow, this, as it happens, yeah. Abe weren't into he never ever took brand. He never ever smoked crack. Like, I never seen him do anything ever, and he was right opposed it. And obviously where I used to dabble every now and then, because I used to get high, and I used to dabble a little bit, he used to like say to me, you on that fucking stuff? You took that stuff? Like, obviously I wouldn't lie, so I said, I had a little bit. Come on, man, relax, man. Fuck. Like, I had a pipe, and then I had a bit of that. He said, you're a mug, mate. Fucking mug. How you doing that? How you doing that? And he used to make me feel like a piece of shit for engaging. And things like that that made me realise that, because it's not an excuse, but when you look up to people and everybody does something, you don't seem, it's like the normalisation of violence, the normalisation of crime, the normalisation of drugs. People normalise it so you believe it's normal. Right, so 97 we get to me and Lisa, I'm working, doing what I'm doing. And then one night my pal said, come out. That's where I was, innit? So my pal said, come out. I've decided to go out. Prior to me going out, remember, I'd never worked before. I got out of jail. Started being a man to my missus, doing the right manly things, the father things, up every morning, running, coming home, taking the kids to school, home, work, come home from work, pick the kids up from school, take them over to the park, feed the pigeons, feed the ducks, feed the squirrels. Waterloo Park, you could feed the squirrels, they used to come up to you. So I'm doing everything right. I went and bought her a car, I've got her a little Golf, do you know what I mean, Hercules she used to call it. And then basically I've got out with my pals one night. My pals were grafting. One of my pals, he pulled me up, he gave me a Submariner, a Rolex Submariner. Like, he'd gone out, he'd had a bit of work, and he'd give me a Rolex Submariner, bubbler. Simon, Bilal Dunn, give me a Rolex watch. When I come home, he said, oh look, I've been grafting, I've done this, I've done that, I want you to have this. So he's giving me the Rolex. I was like, oh, that's nice of you. Anyway, cutting a very long story short, a couple of weeks later, they've all rung me up, they're going out. It's carnival time. You coming out, Marv, come out. You ain't been out. You've been out a year now. Come on, mate. Come out. So I just sort of said to Lisa, do you mind if I go out? So she said, no, go on. You ain't been out since you've been home. So I decided to go out. Obviously, one thing led to another. One day led into two. And I'm out. I've come home. And you know when you just out your nut? So I'm out my nut. So I come in. I'm sitting in the front room like... She's in the bedroom. Dane's in his room and I'm thinking, wow, fuck, I'm buzzing. All of a sudden, Lisa's come in, she's gone nuts. You can't, all the bollocks, all the profanities. Anyway, what have you ever done for me? What do you do for me? And I thought, wow, I've just spent fucking 4.5 years in prison, or 4 years in prison rather. I've come home, I'm going to work, I bought you a car, I'm going without, I'm not giving it the big one, I'm sitting indoors every fucking day. What do you mean, what do I do for you? I'm not going out grafting, I'm not taking the piss, I'm doing what a man should do for you. Like, come on man, what are you digging me out for? Yeah, you fucking scumbag, you're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. You think because you got a watch, you think you got this, you got that. I thought, wow, you are... And obviously, when I get mad, I used to get crazy mad. So I took... Obviously, she's mentioned the watch, like... But things like that are not important to me. My family and my friends know that my family is the most important thing to me. And the reason why I sat in prison is because I thought I was doing the right thing by making sure my family had everything. So when she mentioned the watch, I've took the watch off, I've smashed the watch on the wall, and I've gone outside, I've jumped all over the car, smashed the roof, smashed the window, got in the car, booted everything out of it. Anyway, I've been nicked, gone to court, told the judge what happened, and he just sort of said, was it your car? I said, yeah. He said, can you prove it was your car? So I proved it was my car, I bought it. I proved that I've been working all year. And he said, you know what, Mr. Herbert, you're doing a great job. I'm sorry you had to go through this, but I can't go any further with this case. I'm going to throw it. So he's threw the case out, let me go, because it was domestic violence, criminal damage and all that sort of bollocks. And he's let me go. But me and Lisa now are not seeing eye to eye. Why? Because she's had me nicked. So I was back in that day, grass, can't have it with you now, you're a cunt, you're a dog. So that was me out of Lisa's relationship. And basically I just hit the road then, and it was just back on the road, earning money, doing what I was doing. I went up to Sheffield, got with someone in Sheffield. I was up Sheffield, Liverpool, Manchester from 98 to 99. The end of 97 to the end of 99. And basically what happened is I was going out, I was robbing money, I was partying all around the country, I was meeting all these people, I was living a life, but I weren't with my son. And it was like, I woke up one morning, I was like, wow, I've left my son. Like, I've done what my dad done. I can't do that. So I rung up Lisa, I said, Lisa, I ain't being funny. I said, I want to come home. She was like, what? I said, I want to come home. I need to come home. I need to be at home. I want to be with my son and that, man. I want to be with my family. Can I come home? She was like, yeah, of course you can. So I've sort of woke up, gone to the bird I was with. Do you know what? I'm going back to London. I'll speak to you later. She was like, what's up? I said, don't worry about it, but I'm just going back to London. So I've got on me, I think I had a Kawasaki 750 then, and a car. But the quickest way for me to get back was on the bike. So I jumped on the bike, planning on coming back or getting the bird to drive the car down. But anyway, I was going to get the car back. So I've jumped on the bike, shot home, gone home, had a cuddle, made up, and now I've got to make it up now. So now I've got to make up my relationship with Lisa for what I've done and what I've put her through, sort of thing, since just pissing off after smashing the car up and stuff. So we make it up. Then I start grafting again. I mean, that's when I started moving with old Lee Duarte. So me and Lee started out on our little quest of taking over the world. That went really well for a couple of years, and we were like brothers from other mothers. Like, I opened Lee's eyes to a lot of things. You know, we learned a lot of money. We done a lot of things, and to be quite honest with you, me and Lee had the first proper holiday with my family that I've ever had in my entire life, and it was class. Like, we went to Australia for 2 months. Like, it was sick. First class, not first class, but business class. Like, we had top of the range motors, living in big beach houses. And we went on another holiday. On the holiday, we went to another. I just travelled all around the west coast of Australia. Like, not giving it a big one, just doing everything with the family, going out catching fish, like 5-foot fish. All the photos I've got, like, I'm gonna post them all at a later date. But the pictures we got of this holiday was unbelievable. I think Dane was 5 and Tegan was 1. So Dane was 6 and Tegan was 1. And it was the best holiday you could ever have, you know. Holiday, Australia. Right, so basically, my making up with Lisa, I'd made up, done everything I needed to do by the year 2000. So the year 2000 is when we decided to go to Australia to see the Millennium fireworks. And it was amazing. It really was. On the beach in a certain part of Australia, I can't remember exactly where it was, but they had the firework displays, thousands of people on the beach. Like, it was the best, one of the best New Years I've ever had in my life. That got ruined. You know what I mean? Like, and it did get ruined. So nothing was ever simple back then. You got what you wanted, but never the way you wanted it. But yeah, we travelled, me and Lee, we see things, done things, and achieve things, you know. And then we sort of fell out. And I can't remember what we fell out, but I think it was me going away and then him falling back into old habits with other people, you know. But yeah, because of my shooting and my ag and my headache and everything I used to do, sort of we drifted apart, where Lee was just on money making, I was on creating ag and taking over the world. So that was 2000. Yeah, so we'll leave it there today, the year 2000. And what I'll do, I'll come back and talk about my holiday around Australia and Singapore, and then onwards and upwards up the ladder into the criminal fraternity. And like always, I want to say hi. Alright, so now, let me see, go back to all my hellos. There's someone there. Right, so Colin, Rosie, Richard, Joe. Morning, everybody. Everyone, Mark, Jordan, Wicked, Claire, Sean, Lewis, Andy, Michael, Spotter, yes, Miss Spotter, Deck, Lewis. Lewis, is that Lewis, me mate's dad? Grew up with Stephen and Michael Clark growing up on Abbey Rowley Estate. Good people, good family. Jason Lair, John Mills, Jason Ed, Gary Dawson, Richard Ridgway, Stewie Sharp, yes, Sharpie, Barry Fitzsimmons family, love Pat to death, Antonio Vincente, my guy. Yeah, that's the musician. Look out for this guy. Look him up on YouTube. He's a phenomenal artist, been through his own issues. Man got stabbed up a few times. In one hit, I think it was 9 times he got stabbed. Got himself better, got himself in the music world, got himself in the music industry. Now he's a producer, music maker, and a real good inspiration. Morning, Will Stokes, another phenomenal man, doing all the training and stuff like that, fitness stuff up in Birmingham. Yes, Lulu, family friend, good friend of my sister's. Back in the day, Lulu and her sisters and cousins are just really good people, man, that have stood the test of time. Andy Pritchard, you know I love you, my brother from another mother. Yeah, Stephen Elsley, Poppy Charlton, yeah, Warren Barley. Yes, Wal, how's the family, son? Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. I spoke about you the other day, as it happens. Yes, and you, Dwayne. I'm going to get on to a story that happened on my next session with Dwayne. Yeah, Dwayne Griffith and Donna. Yeah. Because you got to be in the next story because of that day I come out after you see me on the road, right? And like the person I was with, I've got to talk about this story, so I'm going to. Yes, Ren, Johnny, Amy, Brian, Daniel, Lisa. Morning, Lisa. Give my love to the family. Looking forward to having something to eat once this bullshit's over. Paul, Jason, Dominic. Yep, everything's fine with me. You know what? My daughter's just training in the garden. I take the time out every day just to speak to everybody, to get this story out there. If anybody wants me to talk about anything that I've spoke about or go back to, like, let me know and I'll go back to it. If there's stories that you remember that I can't remember, then nudge my memory. If you want me to talk about anything or any experiences we've been through, whether it was a good one or a bad one, it doesn't matter. I want people to know both sides of me. So what I was isn't who I am. So I've forgot a lot of the stuff I've done because a lot of the stuff I've done was bad and you sort of brush it aside. So there's lots of things, like even yesterday someone rang me up and said, do you remember this, do you remember that? And I was like, wow, I do remember it, but obviously in my forefront of my mindset you don't remember certain things. You know, yes, Sticks, Joe, lovely. Morning, Nicola, absolutely fantastic, you're watching. Yeah, Lambs, Warren again, Michael, Rambala. I never know how to pronounce your second name, so I'll just call you Michael Ramba. Little boxing star coming through, yeah? Sam. Morning, Sam. How you doing? Wicked. Rachel. Duncan. Dean. Laura. Morning, Laura. Laura's another one of our raving buddies back in the day. Absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, come on, Peter McDonough. Another boxing. The Limerick, is it the leprechaun they call you, innit? Or the Limerick something? Lisa Efron. Wayne. Heidi. Morning, Heidi. Brandy. Emma. I need to catch up on yesterday's. Yeah, but they're all posted, so everything I do is posted. Morning, Isla. Matthias. Oh, you're wicked. That's the computer guy, right? Lovely. Send me a message. Morning, Connor. Barbara Hayden. Lovely, Barbara. And do you know what? Thinking about it, Barbara. You know what I was thinking about the other day? You might have had that corona. Remember when you went bandy? That might have been corona and they never let us know about it. Is that something to think about? Brian Foster. Tattoo King. Yeah. Morning, Bill. John O'Connor. Rohaman. Jonathan Rohaman. I know that name. Can't put a face to the name. Morning, Ian. MTK, Ian Ritchie, another phenomenal human being. Mate, from where you were to where you are is absolutely amazing. Great. JP Mullin, morning. Paul, Queenie, Anthony. Yeah, Sean, marvellous. You know I'm marvellous. I love being marvellous. Yeah! Come on, Laura. You know. Come on, man. Sick. I hope all the kids are well and your daughter looks just like you, you know. But, yeah, sick. Larry. Morning, Larry. Hope you're well. Once we can travel and visit people, I'll be down to see everyone. But, yeah, we're up to the 2,000. Yeah. People most will be thinking, how come he ain't talking about this? How come he ain't talking about that? Because there's lots of things that I've never got nicked for that I can't talk about. So they're things that I'll have to come out in another way. But I love everybody that's been involved in my life. I love everybody that's actually assisted me becoming the man I am today. And I can actually say only 2% of people that I know have actually encouraged me to commit crime. Everybody else was always telling me that I was wasting my life. So thank you for seeing what I've seen now way back then. And you did, all of you, man. All of you told me, do you know what? Why are you wasting your talent? Why are you wasting your time? Like, you're much, and I never understood what they meant when they said you're much better. You're too good for this. You're too good for this. And I never understood it. Now I'm understanding it. So thank you everybody for giving me your kind words and sentiments. Thank you for the support throughout the whole entire life that I've lived so far. Do you know? Yeah, of course I remember white BMs, red BMs, blue BMs. We had so many fucking nick BMs, I don't remember. But it was red, it weren't white, it was red. See, your memory's gone. You're on about the one that Jamie was driving from Dungeons. That was a red one. It was the first 535i out on the market, brand spanking new. Yeah, F-Reg, I remember it. Yeah, wicked. Yes, morning Gary, hope you're well. Hope you're well. Yeah, so again, yeah, if there's anything anybody wants me to talk about, don't be embarrassed. Ring me up. Remind me of stuff that I've done as well. Because I'd like to apologise for people for some of the bad stuff I've done. Because I've actually stored it as a bad memory. Yeah, you know, Lord, it was red. Yeah, wicked. Then my old dry lips do apologise. But yeah, sick, man. So thanks all for watching. We're going to go up and up and up and up. And when I get to the end, what I'm going to look to do is go back. Dungeons days, come on, man. They was our pinnacle points, penultimate turning points in all of our sort of destinations. Like that's where it started. All of us was there in the dungeon, yeah, dark, deep, sweaty, and oh, mate, there were some days, some memories. And you know what? We'll never forget it. We'll never forget each other because what we've been through and what we sort of lived through was unreal. And like we were superstars back then, man. Like. We were superstars, every one of us, in our own right. We was all superstars in our own right, you know, and we all played a part within society. Some of us worse than others, some of us better than others. So it was just a journey that's been phenomenal, you know, and I've learned so much. I'm 48 now, can't wait to be 50. So yeah, it's sick, and I'm glad that everybody's engaging the way they're engaging because this is just a platform to grow. It's going to be a platform to grow. Going to be a platform to grow. So tomorrow we're going to go on to the 2000 and then we'll talk about some of the stuff because now it's talking about the real mistakes I made, you know, because I really made some mistakes. I'm going to go into detail of situations that I wish I never got involved in, you know, but I was arrested for them. I was convicted for some of them and investigated for some things. So I will be going in and out of situations that people was aware of and people know about. So tomorrow, tune in and I'll speak to you soon. Take care. God bless. Morning. Do you want to say hello quickly? Because everybody's saying how beautiful you are.
Morning, but okay.
Okay. Afternoon.
Hi.
And here's my Sloan, my little angel pie. She is the fittest 11-year-old that I know. But she moans a little bit about doing Marv's training. Believe it or not. Yeah. But she's getting there. She's amazing. I'm so proud of her. Marley, Kane, Dana, Tegan. It is unreal. And for my kids to actually never go to prison. Come on, never go to prison. My son don't even have come on, man. My sons are sons, good sons. They're working hard. You know, he's out in harm's way right now working. My daughter's on that scheme where she gets paid. So no one fell off, man. They're all good kids. You know, they're not junkies, they're not druggies, they're not alcoholics. You know, it's sick coming from me. And they're really beautiful people. They're not horrible people. So I'm proud of the people my kids have become with the assistance from their mum and their grandparents. I'm proud of the man I've become because of the perseverance I've ever been through. Everyone moans about my training, but never after it's done. I know, come on, Sean, man. And you are a prime example, Sean, of never giving up. You have actually turned your life around amazingly. Like, it's unreal what you've done. That's what I'm saying. When I post the pictures of you now, before and after, mate, it is sick. Yeah? Because you're my guy. I love you. I love you like my own son, mate. I'm telling you. Lovely. So I'm going to lock off now and I'll speak to you all soon. Anything personal you want to talk about, just give me a holler, give me a message, send me your phone number and we'll communicate. I'll communicate with every single person that sends me a message, right? So I'm not that guy that won't communicate with you. I'll talk to you about anything. So if you've got issues, if you want anything to get over, anything, advice, call me. Follow me, subscribe and like on hashtag Nothing But The Truth, YouTube, Facebook and Instagram, Herbert.Marvin. Speak soon. Love you lots. Have a great day.